Here we go. It is just howling out here today. The wind is really blowing. But Jack and I need to go get the greenhouse opened. Usually by this time I've already opened it a couple of times. I did turn off the heater much earlier today, but it was a little too cold to actually take off the covers, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Come on, Jack. Come on, dude. Do not be a pain in the butt. Come on, let's go. We've been a dallying dog lately. I'm going to put you back in the house if you're not going to follow instructions. The fans come on. The sun was not out earlier, so it was not running. And here we are. Looks funny, huh? But we got hot enough now that we don't need this. We are obviously in the greenhouse, and I got the recalcitrant puppy in the greenhouse with me. He has been very naughty lately and is going to wind up on a leash unless he follows the rules. So, this is what I come into every morning. Usually, it varies tremendously. It's late right now. It's about 10ish. But usually I'm in here earlier. And I was in here much earlier. I was in here about, I guess about 8 o'clock to turn off the heater. So there's our little heater. And I did open up this guy's here. But I decided for the totally unheated portions of the greenhouse, I would let them enjoy their toast for a little bit more. So now we'll show you what I do every morning. Every morning we peel these guys back. This is just Agrabah row cover. It's the row cover we actually used this summer as a shade cloth in the greenhouse. It provides, well, there's two different weights here. The stuff that was over here is very light stuff, and it doesn't provide that much protection. But the stuff over here is probably good for 3 or 4 degrees. It's a heavier stuff. This is all Agrabah, and it just helps a little bit keeping off the temperature, and it keeps the heat that's rising from the pots underneath. So yeah, it's February, and we have had a very chilly February. This is what it looks like when it's been down. Let's see. Last night was pretty warm, I think. I think it only got down to about 24 Fahrenheit. But most of this week it has been down to about 10, 11, 12 every night. So yeah, let me give you a quick tour. The crazy tomatoes, as you can see, there's still a bunch of them alive in there. Some of them are looking really well. I've actually added a little bit of fertilizer to it. I need to add more water today. Everybody was fertilized in here yesterday, except for these guys. I already planted up some of the brassicas. I need to plant more of them up. And these guys are doing great. Here's our little kohlrabis. These are the pak choi that I planted up, I guess about a week or so ago. And this cabbage over here is almost ready to be harvested. This is a Copenhagen. He could be harvested right now. I don't know that I need cabbage right now. We'll have to see. I harvested every day this week practically. You can see we are full of broccoli in various sizes here. I've harvested a ton of broccoli out of here. I have multiple bags of broccoli in the fridge right now. I'm harvesting mostly side shoots right now, although I did have to take a couple of center shoots on the marathon this week. I have to decide whether I'm going to harvest these today or tomorrow, but it'll be one of those. I'm trying not to bring in any earlier than I have to. These are our earliest ones. These are Atlantis, and they have been harvested since, this bucket here has been harvested since Thanksgiving. You can see there's lots of spots where it's been cut off. And the plant doesn't look awesome, but I just harvested this again yesterday. And as you can see, there's more coming on here. So these plants have been just absolutely stellar. I'm actually debating how much of some of the other things I'm going to plant next year, because these have been so productive. I think that if I just planted 2 big tubs of these like I have here, and then maybe 1 or 2 of the other broccolis, I would have plenty. One of the problems we've had is we've had such a heavy broccoli harvest that it's hard to eat the rest of the stuff, which is problematic because I don't want to let it spoil. I harvested my last full-grown tiara from this pot the day before yesterday, and I used up 3/4 of it yesterday. We spin around here. We have garlic. These are obviously very happy. Garlic. And these are all cabbage. Some of these have had some watering issues, but these are doing great now. And it's starting to form some nice solid heads. These are kohlrabis, and I have actually got a couple in here that are big enough to harvest just fine. I've gradually been harvesting out some of the lettuce that's not Salanova. I need to harvest this guy. This is Adriana, because he's getting too much tip burn here, but there's still a lot of good lettuce there. That's a big lettuce head. Picked down the spinach real hard the other day, and it is come back perfectly, no problem there. So I am happy. I fertilized it again. That's what this little bit of white stuff on there is. So it's growing like a weed. This is all Salanova. Sweet green crisp and red oak leaf. I need to harvest some more of that again. We've been eating everything else except for lettuce lately. So this has got some calendula flowers on it. The process of throwing the covers over. Check out the calendulas. Aren't they just amazing? I mean, it's February. I was actually thinking about cutting some to take into the house. Because just 1 or 2 blooms on the counter right now would be like amazing. Cut the last pak choi from this bucket yesterday, and used about half of it in dinner last night. We had a very nice dinner made up of Chinese custard bows, and that was dessert, and egg rolls, homemade veggie egg rolls. This is carrots, and there's only about 9 or 10 in here. That was old seed, but I wanted to use it. This is spinach, Seaside, which is really one of our favorite flavors. And I anticipate that batch of spinach over there is somewhere along the line going to be past its use-by date, although it's been harvested pretty much all winter. It's time to move on past it. So it'll take a while for these little guys to get up to a decent size. And when I need them, they'll be there. Hercules carrots, they have not come up yet. That's not shocking. It's cold in here at night. You can see I do cover the thing, but it's not warm. Our crazy miscellaneous pot that's got calendulas and other, God knows what grows up in there. Well, it'll be fun to see. We think the stuff in the back is cosmos. I just saw a new seed come up this past week, and I think it's another cosmos plant. And obviously the calendulas, and if I wind up with nothing but flowers in there, I can live with that. It's just So amazing. These were pak choi that Deb gifted me with, and you can see they're doing just great. If I wanted to harvest them as baby pak choi, I could right now. I probably need to, I just hit everybody with some fertilizer, so yeah, that's what the white is on there. These are Brussels sprouts. We're going to try this and see what happens. Brussels sprouts and I have not gotten along in the past. Giving them just what they need at the right moment in order to get them to Brussels has not worked out for us. So we'll see if we can do it this time. And if we can't, well, okay, we'll just write it off as another experiment. But here we are. It's February. Not bad, hey? Oh, and our rutabagas, it's hard to see in here because it's dark, but, but our rutabagas are starting to fatten up in here. So, I know from experience that these little rutabagas here will be super tasty when we do eat them. So they are starting to swell up nicely, and we are very happy with that. So I need to get a couple things done this morning. Ta-da! Stuff done. Emerald crown broccoli transplanted. More emerald crown broccoli transplanted. One Atlantis transplanted. That's another kind of broccoli. Tiara cabbage transplanted. So I think I have another 6 or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. I have another 6 Atlantis to be transplanted, but to be honest, I don't really have a place for them right now. I took out a green forest lettuce here. I decided that it was going to bolt too soon. It'd be better if I just harvested it right now. I took out an Adriana lettuce here. Again, I decided it was just going to not do well, so it was time to remove it. And I've got 2 Tiara, which are cabbage, and these are Tiara cabbage down here too. So we're doing good. It was time to get these guys transplanted up. They were not pot browned yet, although they were starting to show roots on the outsides of the dirt in the seed starting kits. So now was the time to get it out before they started really feeling constricted. You notice that when I reused pots, I added more soil, and I added the Haas Tools 543 organic slow release fertilizer. The new pot that I used, which was I think this one, I did the same thing with, because the potting mix, it'll say it's good for 6 months and all that kind of stuff. Most people have found that the potting mixes are not what they promise to be. There'll be enough for a few weeks, but it's easy to stir that in while I'm planting things. And then I don't really have to worry dramatically for a while if I see this plant starting to flag, but I don't normally let them flag. I normally keep ahead of them with a little 20-20-20 and micro boost. If I really feel like they need something else, I can put in something that's higher in calcium, although this has got some pretty decent calcium in it to start with. Let's see. This has got 9% calcium in it. So this has got pretty good calcium to start with. But if I feel there's a specific plant that needs something special, I can always add something later. But this gives everything a really good start. I'm not guessing about whether it's time to fertilize or anything. I definitely need to do things a little differently next year. But I don't see an easy solution because so much of how fast things grow depends on the temperatures in here. We did make a batch of sauerkraut the other day, which seems to be doing really well. I'd actually wanted to make a bigger batch, but we decided we'd make a smaller batch to start with and see if it goes well, and if it goes well, we'll make a bigger batch. I have a bunch more cabbage. I've got at least 1, 2, 3 that could be, this one could be harvested right now, no doubt about it. That one probably could be too, and at least one of those back there could be. A couple of these are not quite tight and fat yet, so I'm trying to wait on them. If anything, my problem this year is just a little bit too much surplus. I had planned to plant the cabbage in the yard, as I mentioned before, wound up planting it in here. And some things just, I got better germination than I planned on. It happens. It's better than worse germination. But the net result is I really have a bit too much in here. I have another package of saucers coming hopefully in the next week or so that'll solve my watering issues a little bit. But I'm pretty much out of space. I could drill holes in some of my icing buckets. Brill, ready fudge icing. I don't do much in the way of super sweet stuff, so this is a little gross to me. Anyway, I could drill holes in these. We get them free from an assortment of bakery departments. It would definitely be possible. I'm pretty sure I have 4 or 5 more that I could easily break loose if I have to. I expect to pull this cabbage pretty quickly. And this one, when this one comes out, I'll have a bucket clear. What I'm trying to do is, as things really get ripe and ready to go, I pull them out and I can plant behind them. I usually prefer to do what I did here, which was plant different families behind each other instead of having to stick with the same family. I don't have that luxury this year because I simply have too many cabbage family things in here. I honestly thought that these broccoli would be done by now. The plants don't look great, but they keep producing, and I just don't have the heart to chop them out since they continue to produce. There is a backside to this. I could put in a couple of more broccolis back there, actually. So I have to think about that. But everything is stable for now. I've got 2 big heads of lettuce to take into the house. And yeah, it's going well. I mean, it's February and we are eating literally as much cabbage and broccoli as we possibly can. We had a big dinner last night of egg rolls that were homemade with our own veggies. Carrots, 2 different kinds of cabbage, some bok choy, and some onions. So it doesn't get much better than being able to say the main course was your own veggies. Yeah, we went back for seconds. So, and I froze 6 of them in the deep freeze. So we have fast food for a week or 2 from now. Plus there's actually some left over. We could do that for lunch. Henry asked me what I wanted for lunch. I'll have to think about that. I got to decide whether I want the egg roll that are left over in the fridge for lunch or for dinner. Big decisions. We are still in the midst of trying to pull together our seed orders. We're running really late this year, which is not a good thing. We actually don't need many more seeds. We have most everything in stock already. But there are a few things we need There just don't seem to be enough hours in the day lately to get everything done, and things keep happening that are slowing things down. So, yeah, the usual, as they say. So, until next time, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because, like I said, lots going on. Have fun. Keep brainstorming. Yeah, obviously, still brainstorming. So until next time, bye.